Engines howled across the Wichita dusk. Chrome glowed like liquid fire beneath hangar lights. A line of black suits smirked while a single biker killed his Harley's rumble and stared down a private jet whose nose pointed like a challenge. The CEO's voice cut through the heat shimmer. "Fly my jet and I'll let you marry my daughter." The suits laughed. The biker didn't. If you love stories like this, tap subscribe and ring the bell. Another jaw-dropper lands tomorrow. Tell us where you're watching from, and type respect if you believe courage knows no age. Lucas Luke Briggs was 32, born in Amarillo, Texas. He wore road scars like badges and kindness like armor. By day, he tuned engines at a small shop off East Kellogg Drive. By night, he rode a 2014 Harley-Davidson Road King that had more miles than a freight train. He kept a quiet apartment, a coffee can of spare bolts, and a promise he intended to keep. He had met Elena Hale, 28, aerospace design engineer, master's from Embry-Riddle, on a volunteer build at a veterans housing project. She measured twice. He wrenched once. They laughed after the wall stood straight. Her father, Richard Hale, 58, billionaire CEO of Hale Aerodyne, did not laugh. Richard's world was all polish and pedigree. At his company's anniversary gala, he invited the city, donors, officials, pilots, old test crews who smelled of fuel and memory. And he invited Elena and the biker. He just didn't invite respect. Luke shook hands with mechanics and janitors first. He asked an elderly test pilot about the old Citation's quirks. He helped a caterer fix a screaming ice machine with nothing but a zip tie and patience. The suits watched and whispered. The night pressed in. Then the provocation came. Richard raised a glass near the open hangar doors. The runway, a glowing ribbon beyond. The jet, a Cessna Citation CJ-4, white as bone with a royal blue stripe, gleamed like a dare. "Elena tells me you're very good with engines," Richard said, smiling hard. "Fly my jet and I'll let you marry my daughter." Silence, a few chuckles, the kind that sting. Little did they know. Luke's routine had always been steady as a metronome. Up at 5, run 2 miles, open the shop, check the carb rebuilds, phone calls to a few Marine buddies. He was a former Marine helicopter crew chief, 2 tours between 2012 and 2016, maintenance on CH-53E, Super Stallions, Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal for a night recovery in bad weather. After discharge, he used the GI Bill to earn his FAA Commercial Multi-Engine Instrument rating, then a Certified Flight Instructor certificate. He taught weekends at Jabbar Airport. For a year, he'd saved for one exam. 6 months ago, through a scholarship for veterans in aviation, he'd earned a C-525S type rating, quietly, patiently, exactly the jet in front of him. He met Elena's eyes. She didn't flinch. "Your call," she said softly. Luke nodded once. The buildup felt like thunder holding its breath. The company's chief pilot, Doug Carr, gray mustache, 7,000 hours, cautious by nature, stepped forward. "Sir, insurance," he began. "Right along," Luke replied. "You sign the release. I'll handle the rest." His voice was flat steel. They walked. Boots on concrete, a smell of Jet A and promise. One suit muttered, "This is insane." Another said, "He won't even find the battery switch." Luke's hands moved from memory, exterior walk-around. Static wicks, gear doors, fuel caps, pitot covers. He spoke each check like a prayer he'd said 1,000 times. Doug's eyebrows climbed, then settled. In the cockpit, glass screens blinked awake like city windows at midnight. Luke's leather gloves came off, fingertips on checklists, master on, beacon on. Fuel pumps, FADEC, engine start. The first engine lit with a rising, hungry whine. The second joined, a twin heartbeat. Avionics set. Flight plan punched in. Short pattern, full stop. He briefed a sterile cockpit. He briefed the abort points. He briefed the emergency return. The suits fell silent. They had no idea the grease monkey could quote the CJ-4's V-speeds in his sleep. They had no idea he'd spent nights grading students on CRM and weather minima. They had no idea he'd flown medevac sims with a volunteer search and rescue team until dawn. Taxi. The jet rolled like a stalking cat. "Hale 1, cleared for takeoff," came the tower, voice even and curious. He lined up. Breath steady. Elena's silhouette stood by the hangar's edge. Hands nodded, face bright with faith. Throttle forward. Engines roared. The runway blurred. Numbers rushed up. V1. Rotate. He eased back. The jet answered like a secret finally spoken. Wheels left the Kansas dust. City lights spread beneath like spilled stars. Climb. Turn crosswind. Level on downwind. Checklists tight as drumheads. Doug glanced over, half grin, half awe. "You're solid," he said. "Respect never grows old," Luke murmured, base to final. The nose kissed the glide path. "Speed's good." 3 green flare. The CJ-4 settled, whisper light, like the ground had reached up to meet it. Touchdown. It was over in a flash. It was earned in years. They taxied back. Engines wound down to a purring hush. The cockpit went from spaceship to quiet room. Outside, applause ripped the night open. Not polite, real. Richard Hale stood still, then started toward the jet. He wasn't smiling. He looked a decade older and a mile wiser. Elena ran first, tears bright, laughing like the first day they met. She hugged Doug, then Luke, then punched Luke's shoulder, because that's how relief sometimes comes out. Richard stopped at the air stair and climbed. He searched Luke's face. "You could have told me," he said. "You could have asked," Luke replied. The CEO's shoulders dropped, heavy with the lesson. He extended a hand. "Mr. Briggs, I was wrong. About you. About a lot of things," he swallowed. "I said what I said." Short sentence. No way out. "I give my blessing," he finished, "if you'll still have it." Elena laughed again, breathless. "Dad," she said, "we were never waiting on a blessing." "But thank you." The suit suddenly found deep interest in the floor. The mechanics grinned. The old test pilot wiped his eyes with a rough thumb. Respect moved through the hangar like a warm front breaking winter. Days later, the story spread. The biker who flew the jet, the CEO who learned, the engineer who chose character over comfort. None of them were the same afterward, nor were the people who watched. Justice looked like humility. Heroism looked like preparation, meeting opportunity. Love looked like partnership, not permission. Respect never grows old. Never count anyone out. Don't judge the leathers. Honor the character. And in the town where engines sing, an old truth found new chrome. When someone mocks what you are, let your skill answer. Let your actions speak. Let the runway do the talking. If that hit you in the gut, hit subscribe. More incredible stories are rolling in fast. Drop your city in the comments and type respect if you believe real power is quiet until it's needed. Tomorrow's tale. An 84-year-old mechanic, a stolen bike, and a promise kept at dawn. Don't miss it.